All right, everybody, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive? Today we're tackling something that's absolutely crucial in today's world: zero trust network access. You might have heard of it as ZTNA or even SDP, software-defined perimeter.
That's right.
Now, whether you're prepping for that big security meeting at work, trying to stay ahead of the curve in cybersecurity, or just plain curious about how to keep your data safe in this crazy digital age, well, this is the deep dive for you.
Definitely is.
We've got some fascinating stuff to unpack here, folks, drawing from a piece we found called, well, I'll just call it pasted text for now.
Okay.
But let me tell you, this ZTNA thing, it's being touted as the future of cybersecurity, especially with all the remote work and cloud stuff happening these days. And get this, apparently, it blows those old VPNs we're all used to right out of the water.
Yeah, that's right.
So to help us break it all down, I've got an expert here with me today. So first things first, can we just get a simple explanation? Like, what exactly is ZTNA?
All right, so at its core, ZTNA is all about this idea. Never trust, always verify.
Okay, I like that. Never trust, always verify.
Yeah, it's a big shift from how we used to think about network security, where we basically assumed that anyone inside the network was, well, trustworthy.
Right. Like once you were in, you were in.
Exactly. But now with ZTNA, every single request, whether it's from a user or a device, it has to be verified. Every single time.
Wow, so no more free passes just because you're on the company network. So I guess that's why everyone's saying it's so much more secure.
Right. Even Gartner, they're saying that ZTNA really enhances security, like significantly reduces those attack surfaces because internal apps are never directly exposed to the internet.
Oh, that makes sense. So it's like even if someone's snooping around out there, they can't even see what's inside, let alone get in.
Exactly.
Okay, so VPNs. I mean, we've all used them, right? They used to be like the gold standard for remote access. What happened? Why aren't they cutting it anymore?
Well, VPNs, they were great back in the day, like before everything moved to the cloud and before we all started working from, coffee shops and home offices.
Yeah, back when we all went to the office.
Right, back then. But the thing is, they have some vulnerabilities.
Okay, like what kind of vulnerabilities?
So VPNs, they do encrypt the traffic, which is good. But once you're in, you basically have access to the whole network.
Oh, I see. So it's kind of like, I'm thinking, like giving someone the key to your house, but once they're inside, they can go into any room they want.
Exactly. And if someone manages to steal your credentials, well, then they have free reign. They can do whatever they want.
Oh, yeah, good.
And then there are the performance issues.
Yeah, those can be a pain.
Oh, yeah. VPNs, they can be slow, especially when you've got a lot of people connecting remotely. It can get really frustrating.
Okay, so VPNs, kind of a mixed bag. But ZTNA, this is sounding pretty good, honestly. So can we break it down side by side? Like, what are the main differences between ZTNA and VPNs?
Sure, yeah. I think the clearest way to see it is to think about it this way. So ZTNA, it operates on this principle of least privilege access. You only get access to what you absolutely need, nothing more. And it's always verifying, not just a one-time check at the door. It's continuous.
Always watching. Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. And being cloud-based, I'm guessing that helps with the whole performance thing.
Yeah, definitely. It's much smoother, much more scalable. And, if there is a breach, it really limits the damage, like it contains the threat. Plus, it's way more seamless for the user. No more messing around with VPN connections.
That's what I like to hear. No more messing around with those VPN connections. So all this sounds great in theory, but how is DTNA being used, like, in the real world?
Okay, well, think about this, right? We've got all these remote and hybrid workforces now. ZTNA is perfect for them because it gives them that secure access, without the hassle of a VPN.
Right, so no more of those annoying connection issues when you're trying to get work done from home.
Exactly, and it's also great for controlling access for, third parties, contractors, minimizing that risk.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. You don't want just anyone getting into your systems.
Exactly. And then, think about industries where data protection is super important, like finance, healthcare, government. They're all starting to adopt ZTNA.
Right, because the stakes are so high if something goes wrong.
Exactly. And then, it even helps with insider threats. So let's say an employee goes rogue or their account gets compromised. They can't just move freely within the system anymore.
Okay, so it's like, even if someone on the inside tries to do something shady, ZTNA's got you covered.
Yeah, it's like having those extra security checks in place, just in case.
So if a company's hearing all this and thinking, okay, we need to get on board with ZTNA, What are the key pieces they need to put in place?
Well, you absolutely need multi-factor authentication.
Right, so it's not just about passwords anymore.
No, definitely not. You need more than just a password. You also need strong device authentication, making sure that only trusted devices are connecting to the network.
Okay, so like making sure your laptop's up to date and all that.
Right, exactly. And then there's dark web monitoring. That's where you're basically checking to see if any of your employees' credentials have been compromised and are out there on those, shady parts of the internet.
Okay, so that's up being proactive, like staying one step ahead of the bad guys.
Exactly. And then, there are different deployment options to consider. You can do it yourself. You can have a cloud provider manage it for you, or you can go with a fully managed service.
So options for every need and budget,
Right.
basically.
Exactly.
Okay, so it sounds like ZTNA is a pretty big change from how we've been doing security for, well, a long time. Do you think every organization should be making this shift, like right now?
I mean, honestly, yeah. The way things are going with cyber threats, it's really not a matter of if an attack will happen, but when.
Right, because it feels like every day you hear about another company getting hit with a data breach.
Exactly. And those breaches, they can cost a company, millions, right?
So the cost of not doing anything is actually much higher than the cost of implementing ZTNA.
Exactly. It's like an investment in your security and your peace of mind.
So if someone's listening and thinking, okay, ZTNA sounds important, but where do I even start?
Well, the first thing is to really understand your current security situation. Figure out what your most important assets and data are, and then think about how your people need to access those things. Once you've got that figured out, you can start looking at different ZTNA providers, see what's out there, and find the solution that's the best fit for your organization.
Great advice. This has been a really, really insightful deep dive into ZTNA. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with something to think about. Imagine applying this whole zero trust idea, not just to work, but to your personal life too. Like, what if you started approaching everything with the mindset that nothing is inherently safe?
That's a really interesting question.
Right. Like, how would that change how you handle things online? Your data, your privacy, even your relationships. Food for thought, right?
Definitely food for thought.
So until next time, everyone, stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay safe out there.